11:30. Boom.
All right.
Perfect time to start.
Okay. Mr. Norris?
I was getting into that. I was counting myself in. Man, come on, man.
Come on.
You
I
can't
saw a
do
pause.
that,
I was
man.
just like, what's going on?
It was happening. It was the mind was churning. It was
okay.
going boom.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing today? Man, what's going on, David?
Hey, everything's good, Thomas. I'm
All
doing
right.
well. How about you?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. I got my girl Chloe in the house for the first time. All right. And y'all won't believe it. We got a special guest. We got Heath Wiggins in the house with us. Not only is he a guest contributor this evening, he also is a creator of this show. So if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here right now. And I'm saying all of that to say, we're going to get into this show. So, I don't know if y'all saw it this week, but it was this woman by the name of Eve that decided to put out a PSA on Instagram where she was urging people to go ahead and have sex on the first date. So a lot of people was like, oh, what's going on with that? But she went on to further explain why she decided that having sex on the first date is better. She gave this example of how she was dating this dude. She said 10 or 15 dates, which I already knew was a lie right off the rip because you know the difference between 10 and 15. I know for the fellas, my wallet know the difference between 10 and 15.
Well, she probably was just like, it's 10 or 15, just went out every now and then.
It's her privilege that they can do that. But she was explaining she was having in-depth conversation with this guy, and in between those 10 or 15 days, she asked him what his kinks were, as far as sexually. And she said, I'm telling you, it was hilarious because she explained everything. She said that they finally decided to be intimate, and during it, he thought that it was okay to talk dirty. But in his dirty talk, it was some of the weirdest stuff I've ever heard, where he was like, oh, yeah, you want me to put...
It's okay.
You want me to put this baby in
Go
you?
ahead.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I had to look and see the sponsors before I did it real quick. That's why I paused. But I was like, he was like, you want me to put a baby in you and make you mine and you'll
That's
have to live with me
now.
forever. It was just like the
kinky, nasty... you want me to fill up the fallopian tubes, huh?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you possibly want to get an STD from me and have to go to the clinic on Tuesdays because on Monday it's too hectic for your work schedule. He was really eerily specific about what he was about the stuff that he was talking about. But beyond that, really, what do y'all think about when is the perfect time to get intimate when you're meeting someone new?
Definitely not on the first date.
Okay.
I would say you don't really know that person. Just to your point about STDs, they could have any and everything, and that's just gross. And then also, I feel like there's also this taboo around women that if you're giving it up on the first date, you're easy. And so I think sometimes as women, that's another reason why, okay, well, I don't want to come off as that, and I don't want to just be, okay, check. I slept with you, that's it. And then again, it depends on what you really want out of the date. Do you want this to just be a one-night stand? Or are you like, okay, I see this person long-term? I think those are some of the things that people usually think about on the first date as opposed to, I'm just going to sleep with this person. But then again, it just depends on the person and what you're trying to get out of that date.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Back when I was dibbling and dabbling. And,
say what it is.
It's not a heathen.
Play, right?
I was dibbling and dabbling in
Confession is good for the
dipping
soul.
and dapping.
in harlotry. And as the Lord had brought me from that, I've never really shamed a woman for sleeping or choosing to have sex with me early. I actually appreciated it.
Thank you, man.
Yes, and thanked her profusely. But I understand. Yes, you will. That in a lot of communities, you will be labeled, and especially, but you don't always have to tell your business. I feel that now that I've gotten older, I feel that no, it's stupid. You don't know these people. Yeah. I know how much I lied before the first 10, 15 dates sometimes, or I just gave you
the first 30 seconds. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
you know, I gave you the best case scenario about everything. Oh yeah, that's because this, that, and the other. You
Right.
know, you sell yourself as best as you possibly can. So I don't feel like you know the authentic person on the first date to give that much.
I
to
would
you.
say sometimes you don't want to know the person on the first date. So
okay.
here's where I'm coming from, because
Okay.
I was talking to some family members. I have a niece who is in her 20s.
Okay.
And I was talking to her and her roommate when she was in college, and her sister and friends and cousins, so forth. A bunch of young women, and they were like, if I want to have sex with you on the first date, why are you shaming me because I want the same thing that you want? Why is it okay for you to want to have sex on the first date and it's good, but it's not good for me to want to have sex on the first date?
Because society says that it's wrong.
Exactly. And they were saying that this is a misogynistic, chauvinistic, male-dominated society that is just making women feel less than for the same things that they want. And I was like, I mean, I had never heard that perspective before.
Okay.
So I was like, and they were like, women have their own agency to do what they want and make the decisions that they want to. Why can't they have sex on the first date? And I was like, I can't argue with that.
I mean, I think that people need to be honest with what they want. And I think if you have two people that are honest about what they want and what
Well,
their
do you have
expectations
time to be
are,
honest about what you want on the first date?
I think you have a lot of time to really be honest on the first date.
And that's
because
what the DM slides are for.
yeah, and the conversation before the first date, I really feel like we can be honest with what it is. If you ask me what I'm looking for, and depending on what I was looking for at the time, I had a nice little spiel. Look, right now I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm out to have a
Right.
good time. And if you want to hang out and have a good time and all that goes along with that, then we good. And from those words are what I live by when I only wanted to do that. And
but when you
everybody-
say have a good time,
oh, you know what I mean.
some people don't know what that means.
Some people are vague.
So, or
Yeah,
some people
that's why
think
you-
differently.
It was
Yeah.
vague enough.
That's why
to
you
get
have
me.
to put
To
it
get
up
you what you
front.
wanted.
You got to put it up on front day one what you want. And I think when
Mm-hmm.
you have that open conversation, everybody knows. And here's the bottom line: back to whether you wait, first day, second day, third day. Here's what's up, right? We all know what we want to do, and that's the truth of the matter. And I don't believe in shaming women because. Before those days when I aligned myself the right way, right?
There was those days,
David? Yeah, it was like from day one. I knew, like, say, Chloe, when I met a woman, we had that conversation, and we both knew what we wanted.
Right.
And that's the adult part of it, where we can't shame a woman. But on the other hand, how many dates do you have to go out on before you qualify? And if you're honest up front, everybody has a clear expectation. I think the deception part is where we stumble sometimes, because if I say, hey, I want a good time, no sex, right? Then you know right away, Chloe, if a woman wants to have sex with me and I don't want that, we straight. But if we
Right.
both want to do it, it's just a matter of when we want to do it.
I mean, I know for a long period of time when I was, I would tell women that, I was attempting to be abstinent, or I am abstinent. And most women,
That weekend.
Per weekend.
That weekend. You were trying to be absent that weekend?
Yeah.
well, the thing is that can
When was that, sir?
we
When
be
was
real?
that, sir?
Can we
Yes,
be
we
real?
can be real.
Can we be
Yeah.
real? The majority of the time, if I said that, it was already in her mind, I'm going to see how real this is. Every
But why do
woman
you
that
think
I
that?
told that I was practicing
challenge.
abstinence took it as a personal challenge to be the person that was going to break that.
That's because
and
she's so
what
sexy,
they
Thomas.
did not
That's
know.
Bang on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
sorry, that's fine.
And what they did not know is that I was going to fail anyway. I was planning to fail. I'm going to tell you that I'm being abstinent.
Wow.
You're going to take it as a
Wow.
challenge, and I'm going to
Game.
lay there and
That's
act
game.
like, oh, you got me. Oh, you did it. Oh,
That was so game.
because
That's why women so mad at dudes now.
But this is
Because
the
they be
thing.
lying in these streets.
Why am I lying? I was attempting to be abstinent.
You were
But
not.
the game that you sold was so strong, young lady. Understand.
So now it's her fault.
Guess what? At the end of the day, that's how she felt.
Is that how you wanted her to
So,
feel?
Game.
Guess
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
That's it.
I don't want it to sound because this
Why you-
was
why you
this
sound
was
like
a
it's
long
like a
time
noble
ago.
thing that you
no,
were doing?
No. But listen. This was a long time ago, and I'm not saying I'm not condoning any of these things. It's funny
It was
now
wrong.
to talk about it, but the thing is if I made you feel like it was your mess up, your slip up, it was easier for you to understand in the realm of Christianity why I had to back away from you.
Wow.
So it's
So
like
you use
okay.
your religion on top of all of that debauchery.
I'm not saying that it was right,
Lord have mercy.
but this is truth from from somebody who used to do this nonsense.
I mean,
and I don't want y'all to fall victim of the little F boys that are still around there on Pew 3.
Game recognized game is
that are
Yeah.
sitting there doing that. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to, give you some real.
But that could be perceived as a scapegoat. Up front, on the one hand, you say, well, I'm abstaining from sex. Then on the back end, this is my out because I want to get back with the Lord, right? So,
It was
I
game.
didn't know I'm laughing.
It was
Thank
all
you.
game. It was all game.
Game.
And I'm not trying to sugarcoat it or whatever. That was me then.
Yeah.
I am a happily married man. Hey, sweetheart. And that was me then. And I stopped being that. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, it was meeting Mr. Wiggins here that stopped me from doing a lot of that. Because I used to tell him about some of this stuff that I would do. And he got a good laugh out of some of the things I used to, little
Shenanigans,
games
chicanery,
that I used to play. They weren't
mayhem and debauchery.
Yeah, so I'd rather talk about them now and get it out here,
but
so
I think
that
about
women can look at that type of stuff.
I think
now.
about this woman who was talking about not having sex. I mean, having sex on the first date and doing that for the purpose of not being disappointed with what she ends up having her sexual experience with the guy. On that principle alone, there's some merit to that. It's almost like having a conversation before you get married. Like there's a show Married at First Sight, right? But you don't have to have a conversation before you get married. But then you see all the things that you find out later that you really didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
So in this sexual arena, there's some merit to the conversation of having sex on the first date to find out how this person relates with you sexually. Some women are okay with that. From a Christian standpoint, of course we know that that's not what we should be doing, and it's not biblical. However, Christians be having sex anyway.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, don't lie. Don't lie. Tell the truth.
So in the realm that you were in, and I was in too. I don't know about you, Chloe, and David. You said you were in. You're the only one out here that hasn't, delved in the debaucherous activities, the arts of debauchery.
The woman known as Chloe is not going to answer any of those
I
questions
got a halo on the top of my head.
because
Yes,
she is
you
a
do.
good, clean, upstanding
Yes.
Christian woman.
Yes.
All right, we're going to leave it at that.
But what was my point I was making? That those who are Christians, and let me get your thoughts on this. Those who are Christians, if they are having sex, are you better off by saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna have sex on the first day, but I'll have sex, a month from now after we're in a committed relationship"? Does it matter to God? Is God like, "Okay, you waited 30 days. Good on you. Good on you."
I think a lot of us think that there's a day-to-day grading system that God has for us, and we're hoping that we can pile up enough gold stars to omit this 0 I got on Friday. But I've found out that through life in general, we place a lot of importance on sex. Sex, yes, it is important, but being married and being in a committed relationship with my wife, it's not something that we dabble in as often as we would like to, just because of schedules. We got kids, we got a bunch of stuff. There's things that you're going to find out in your relationship because what I found is that once we've discovered sex between me and the other person, it's kind of where we stayed. And we stayed in that realm, and we learned a lot about each other there in this one particular pocket, but it didn't amount to a lot outside of the bedroom. I still didn't know you enough to do certain things. I still didn't know you enough to be totally committed to you. There was still a lot of questions that sex sometimes can get in the way and make you feel like you know about somebody because they physically open themselves up to you. But you can open yourself up to somebody and still be emotionally closed off, still not be ready as far as, financially or anything like that. So sex is an illusion in a lot of cases of knowing somebody.
Well, to answer your question, I feel as though everyone knows that God is a gracious God and that his mercies are new every morning. But I think that we need to also think about how it affects, think about it from a Christian perspective, but also how it affects you. Do you want all those soul ties? You just want to go on 500 million dates and then just have all those soul ties connected to people and figure out, I can't disconnect from this person, or I'm still stuck on this person. I can't move forward. I do want to get married, but I have all these 50,000. Not saying, that's a lot of soul ties, but I'm just saying you have all these
Magic Johnson numbers right there.
Oh my gosh. You have all these soul ties. So think about it from the perspective of, is God giving grace, but also am I trying to ruin my dating experience or my potential marriage or have extra problems because I have all these soul ties out here. So that's kind of what I was thinking about.
That's a great point, Chloe, because ultimately, having sexual intercourse is covenant.
Yes.
And especially for those of us who are believers, right? It is covenant. So when you connect, you are connecting in covenant. When you think about outside of that, do Christians, the disclaimer is a lot of Christians in church do have sex, outside, because they're human at the end of the day.
Right.
But that's the larger issue. How does God look at that? And the union between a man and a woman is straight up covenant. And God does not, where I look at, he's gracious, Chloe, but the bottom line, I do believe that that's a hard decision that we have to grapple with. Where do you stand in terms of keeping your covenant with God, much less trying to connect with a woman?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I said all that to say we are done on this topic, and we're going to kick it over to my girl, Chloe. What you trying to say?
Something a little lighter than sex.